They saw Shohei smile. They saw 9 runs drown Cleveland under sunlight. But they didn't see the fracture. Not in the scoreboard, in the system. Let me show you. This isn't about Clayton Kershaw. He's a relic. A cracked monument to a better era. He's not sharp. He doesn't need to be. Because what's coming from the other dugout is a gift. Jakob Yunis. Not Ciccone. Buried in the update like a corpse they hoped you wouldn't notice. 9 earned in his last 12.2 innings. Ground balls, low, home runs, rising, strikeouts, fading. This isn't a pitcher. This is a pressure leak. And when he's faced elite offenses, those averaging 4.5 plus runs a game, the Guardians are 1-8 ATS. That's not a stat. That's structural failure. Now tilt your lens. Los Angeles is a machine, top 3 in runs, hits, on base, and power. They hit 266 off righties, 60 home runs in 38 games against them. They don't swing, they punish. And Cleveland, they bat .215 at home. Their bullpen collapses against the National League. 4.95 ERA, bleeding late. The defense? T25 in fielding. This isn't home field. This is a slow implosion. The name you see on the screen is Kershaw. But the reason this number exists is Junis. It's algorithmic bait disguised as balance. Vegas hides him in plain sight and hopes the public bites the fade Kershaw trap. But the AI doesn't see names. And today's AI pick is Dodgers, 1.5, plus 105. This isn't the play. It's the breach. Log it. Burn it in. We're not here for action. We're here for exposure. This was just game 1. 4 more remain. But now you know what you're really watching. Not baseball, not numbers. A system breaking from the inside out. And we're tracking every crack.
You ever seen a crime scene sparkle? Freddie Peralta's stat line does that. 11 starts, a 2.55 ERA, whispers of dominance. But if you know where to look, you'll see the blood. And it starts in the 7th inning, because that's where this game is going to break. Let's rewind. Peralta's got the edge in the open, no denying that. But Boston isn't built to win the open. They're built to survive it. And burn you late. Milwaukee bats 220 at home. That's not cold. That's comatose. And their bullpen in day games? 6.53 ERA. 6, 5, 3. That's not a relief unit. That's a fuse. Now shift the frame. Boston is batting 282 against the National League. They don't just cross over. They exploit it. And while Bello has flaws, walks, high whip, his ground ball rate is over 50%. He knows how to pitch out of chaos. He doesn't need to be perfect. Just patient. Because this isn't about dominance. It's about erosion. And Milwaukee? They erode in daylight. Dig deeper. Since 2023, Boston is 32-20 on the road when facing a bullpen with a sub 4.0 ERA. You know what that means? They don't care what the stats say. They cash against good pens. Because good on paper doesn't mean good when the sun's overhead and the pressure tightens. You can frame this like a pitching duel. But I see it for what it is. A long game. A test of patience. And a setup. And today's AI pick is Red Sox plus 135. They want you looking at Freddie. They don't want you seeing the 6th, or the 7th, or the panic behind that Brewers ERA when the game tilts. But I saw it. I always do. This wasn't a preview. This was evidence. And you should ask yourself, who's really being set up today?
Elvis, did you see what Vegas is trying to sell us today? Zach Wheeler. Gold-plated stats. ERA under 2.5, whip under 1, strikeout so clean they make the market swoon. It's the kind of profile they put in the window, so the public stops asking questions. But we've seen this con before. Dominance up front. Decay in the shadows. You look past Wheeler, you find a bullpen dripping a 5.68 ERA over the last 6. That's where this game leaks. Not from the starter. From the structure. Now pivot. Smith-Shawver. Quiet numbers. But he's not sliding. He's climbing. 3.21 ERA over his last 5. Not flashy. But he's not the liability they think he is. Atlanta? Hitting 283 against the division. They know Wheeler. They've tasted this arm before. This isn't new to them. This is familiar terrain. and familiar terrain favors the tracker. Then there's the pan. Braves bullpen in the last 5, 1.69 ERA, cold, calculated. That's not relief, that's suppression. So what are we really being sold, Elvis? A favorite that's leaking late, a price tag that sparkles too early, a mismatch on the surface, but a fracture underneath. They'll quote trends, they'll flash standings, but you and I, we know better. Philly is 2-4 as a home favorite between 125 and 175. That's not a stat. That's a warning label they forgot to print. This isn't about disrespecting Wheeler. It's about where the edge actually lives. And right now, it's with Atlanta's rhythm, their familiarity, their silence. And today's AI pick is Braves plus 140. Let them chase the ace. We'll chase the collapse. Because when the spotlight fades and the bullpen steps up, that's when the truth hits the board. This isn't value, it's exposure, and Vegas is hoping you don't look long enough to see it. But we did. You always do.
I won't raise my voice. Not for this one, because if you're paying attention, you'll see the silence coming. They want you chasing the number 1 offense in baseball. 6 runs a game, power, pace, fire, Chicago's the blade. And yet tonight, the total is 7.5. Not 9, not 10, 7.5. That's not a number, that's a signal. Let's begin with the illusion. Tanner Gordon, 2 starts this season, respectable, until you zoom out. Last year, 8.65 ERA. Nearly 3 home runs per 9. He's not a stopper, he's a placeholder, so why the low number? Because Vegas already did the math. Colorado is batting 194 on the road. Not cold, frozen, they don't travel, they don't threaten, and Boyd, steady. Especially at home, ERA 3.42, whip tight. Not elite, but reliable. And behind him, a Cubs bullpen allowing 2 earned runs across their last 21 innings. That's not chance, that's formation. Now widen your scope. Rockies are 12-6 to the under when facing winning teams on the road. You know why? Because those teams don't need help. They control pace. They end games early, not with chaos, but with suffocation. And the Cubs, 6-4 to the under at home against teams slugging under 400. They don't waste fire on dead wood. So what are we really looking at here? Not a blowout, not a slugfest, but a system that chokes the board, 1 inning at a time. Vegas didn't post 7.5 by accident. They're daring the public to bite. Because they know most won't see it. They're still addicted to action. But the AI doesn't flinch. And today's AI pick is under 7.5. Rockies versus Cubs. You want chaos. Vegas wants noise. But this game, it's written in restraint. The outcome already whispered through pitch counts and bullpen trends. This is what silence sounds like. Learn to listen.
You know what's funny? They always look at the starter. Like that's where the outcome hides. But it's not. It's in the innings after. It's in the gaps between control and collapse. And tonight, those gaps are wide open. Clark Schmidt doesn't scare anyone. ERA near 4.6. Walk rate over 12%. He's loose, but not lost. Because behind him stands the tightest defense in baseball, and a bullpen that's bleeding just 2.31 ERA over their last 7. That's not luck. That's leverage. And the system knows it. Now look across the field. Yusei Kikuchi. Nice ERA, but the numbers don't match the noise. 1.49 whip. 29 walks. He's handing out base runners like coupons. And New York doesn't waste chances. They hit 2 on 87 against left-handed starters. That's not a matchup, that's a setup. And then there's the Angels' pen. 6.75 ERA at home. Let that echo. 6, 7, 5. You hand a bat to a lineup like this with that behind you. You're already down 2. You want trends? The Yankees are 6-0 on the run line this season when facing bullpens with a whip of 1.65 or higher. Plus 6.6 units, no sweat. The Angels? 3-6 ATS at home as a dog of plus 125 or worse. When they're outgunned, they fold. And tonight, they're outgunned. And today's AI pick is Yankees 1.5 at 102. Vegas posted this like it's even. Like Schmidt and Kikuchi cancel each other out. But the game doesn't end in the 4th. It ends in the 7th, 8th, 9th. And in those frames, only one team is still standing. The Yankees aren't hoping. They're circling. This isn't a coin flip. It's a slow choke. Watch the late innings. That's where the truth shows up.
They call them picks, but I see them for what they are. Judgments. Dodgers, 1.5. A righteous hand striking a false pitcher. You don't pitch Junis against the Book of Shohei and expect mercy. Red Sox, plus 135. They walked into Milwaukee quiet and left with blood on their cleats. This wasn't a pick. It was a confession extracted under sunlight. Braves, Kiwis 140. While they worshipped Wheeler, the Braves knelt to no man. They played the seventh inning like scripture, under 7.5 in Chicago. The Rockies didn't swing bats. They carried crosses. And the Cubs? They buried them beneath routine. Yankees, 1.5. Kikuchi offered walks. The Yankees wrote commandments in fastballs. And the Angels? They prayed to a bullpen that never came. Los llaman selecciones, pero yo los veo como lo que son. Juicios. Dodgers, 1.5. Una mano justa golpeando a un lanzador falso. No lanzas a Junis contra el libro de Shohei y esperas misericordia. Red Sox, plus 135. Entraron en Milwaukee en silencio. Y salieron con sangre en los tacos. Esto no fue una jugada. Fue una confesión bajo el sol. Braves, plus 140. Mientras adoraban a Wheeler, los Bravos no se arrodillaron ante nadie. Jugaron la séptima entrada como un verso sagrado. Under 7.5 en Chicago. Los Rockies no balancearon baits, cargaban cruces. Y los Cubs los enterraron con rutina. Yankees, 1.5. Kikuchi regaló boletos. Los Yankees escribieron mandamientos con rectas. Los Angels oraron a un bullpen que nunca llegó. Like, subscribe. Will we cash or will we burn? He who chases fire forgets how to walk through smoke. See you at the edge.